Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the MSP Corner podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Gregory Moravietz. And today we're going to discuss another MSP topic. Well, the title of today's show is your MSP stuck on 5 or 6 figures? Do you want to get to 7 figures? So, like always, we have a quick agenda. So before we get started here, like always, we have an introduction. And we're going to ask Gregory a lot of these questions. He's going to be on the hot seat. So we're going to be talking about the power of niche positioning, building a scalable sales process, mastering marketing and lead generation, delegation and automation, recurring revenue and retention, and then a short plug on the MSP Corner, and then some closing thoughts. So today we're going to be tackling a huge challenge in the MSP world. Many of you are stuck and scaling past 5 or 6 figures can be challenging because you feel like you've just reached that ceiling. But the good news is you can get to that 7-figure territory. Now, like I mentioned, I'm joined by Gregory Moravietz, a seasoned MSP CEO who has built a 7-figure MSP. And we've been doing this for almost over 25 years now. So we're going to discuss what's holding MSPs back, the key moves that unlock growth, and his take on how MSPs can level up. So stick around because this is going to be a little eye-opening. So let's tackle that first topic of the power of niche positioning. Gregory doesn't believe in it too much. I do. I'm a big believer in this concept. Well, I'm speaking for Gregory, so I'm going to let him answer it. But like I was saying, many MSPs struggle because they try to serve everyone. And in the beginning, Gregory always says, yes, serve everyone. And I agree with that philosophy because when you're starting out, it's a struggle. You're getting a lot of word of mouth. So close as much business as you can. But this is when the real growth happens, is when you start to specialize. And picking a niche allows you to stand out and surprisingly command higher pricing. And this will help you close deals a lot faster because when businesses see you as the expert, they're going to want to do business with you. And Gregory has a funny explanation for what I'm going to share right now. It's like, you've been charged with a crime. Are you going to look up criminal attorneys or divorce attorneys, right? You're obviously going to want to hire a criminal attorney. And Gregory had a funny comeback the other day. He's like, well, what if they don't call you back?
Right?
Because you're right. It's like, what are you gonna do when they don't call you back? I can tell you this. I'm just gonna continue hunting for the right attorney. But you're right. You're absolutely right, Greg. And this happens with large organizations. And I'm gonna name a couple here, like CrowdStrike. I'm on CrowdStrike's spam list, so I emailed them back saying, "Hey, let's schedule a meeting." Do you think they call me back?
Nope.
No, they don't. I just emailed another company today, a big company today. Hey, I'd like to schedule a meeting. I want to talk about your solution. Do you think they call me back?
No.
No, they didn't. So these organizations are missing out on a lot of opportunities because I'm sure I'm one of many. So my message to the MSPs listening is you better be on top of your email. And if you get a message or a lead that comes through your website or your answering service gets a call, you better call them back within the hour. That's my advice to you. There's just no way you should even wait to call them back. You might think, oh, I'm going to sound desperate. No, you're going to sound responsive. You're going to sound like a responsible organization that values their clients and prospects' times. So don't feel like you're going to be in this position that, oh, I'm going to look desperate. No, you're going to look professional and you're going to look like somebody who cares about people that are calling in. Greg, would you agree, or do you think they would look desperate?
No. There is no looking desperate. They're maybe looking desperate in other types of fields of work, but not in ours.
Right? Yeah, I agree. No, it's an interesting dilemma, and I think this is across the board with a lot of organizations that are just enjoying this moment in the sun where they're like, oh, we've got so much business, I don't need to call these guys back. BS, man. You better call them back. There's been too many companies that have sat on the top and they have been dethroned. Let's just say that. But let me ask you a quick question on regarding niche positioning. What industry verticals do you think are underserved and great for MSPs to focus on? Do you have a specific one?
Maybe pharmaceutical, biomedical, manufacturing, light manufacturing, possibly medical device manufacturing, but not much. Everything else is saturated.
Yeah, the biotech industry is pretty good. I would definitely target that that vertical because they're limited with resources, so they're not they're under I believe they're underserved. But that leads me to my next topic of building a scalable sales process. Many MSPs rely on referrals, and some refer as to word of mouth, which aren't. It's just not a scalable model. To hit seven figures, they need they need a repeatable, structured sales process that consistently qualifies and closes opportunities. So when you're coming in, when you got leads coming in, right, early on, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to sell. And if you have a sales process that is first qualifies the opportunity and then you put that specific industry under a specific sales process, you're going to be able to consistently close opportunities. And my question to you, Greg, is where do you think most MSPs go wrong with sales?
Not having a salesperson. Not having somebody. Well, usually,
Yeah,
like you said,
you're
word of
right.
mouth. There are no salespeople in word of mouth. It's just the owner kind
Yeah.
of fielding all the leads.
Yeah.
The owner
Yeah.
shouldn't be fielding leads.
No, no, not I agree. I think, but in the beginning, they're gonna have to, right?
They have to because they can't afford a salesperson.
Yeah, salespeople are expensive, but you know, I've heard, and I'm not sure if this I haven't done the research, but I've heard actually I spoke to a CEO of another MSP I'm mentoring. They are working with a group of sales guys that are looking to leave a specific RMM provider. I can't say the name because I've been sworn to secrecy, but they're bringing in new business through their current employer and having him do all the back end work, right? And they're doing a split on the sales, so they get just straight commission. But if you could work something out like that, that's a great opportunity right there. Great opportunity because you don't have all the overhead for having that salesperson in house. So yeah, I think that's one way of doing things. But other is, yeah, it's tough to do business with friends because one friend will end up doing most of the work and there's sour feelings, and I don't know if I would go in that direction, but having a salesperson is definitely a big requirement. I think that's where a lot of MSPs go wrong also. But again, early on, you might not have the budget, but once you build up a nice, healthy war chest of money, yeah, invest in a good salesperson. But I'm going to create a show on what type of salesperson you guys need to hire because you need a specific salesperson with specific expertise because a lot of these guys think that salespeople are they're going to generate leads too. They're like, oh, you got to generate leads. Yeah, they could probably make cold calls, but that's not the function of a salesperson. A salesperson is to attend meetings, qualify opportunities, provide proposals, write contracts. It's not their job to implement a marketing strategy. This is not. Can they make some sales calls, cold calls? Yeah, I would recommend that they make at least 50 to 100 calls every week. That's not very demanding. I could easily do 20 cold calls every morning if I had a good list, and I would crush it. But that's neither here nor there. But that is definitely where a lot of organizations go wrong with sales. Is they also hire a lot of unqualified people, right? They just don't hire the right people. They don't have a good grasp of what expectations to set, and that's a big. You're just setting yourself up to fail. So definitely do your research before you hire a salesperson. Make sure they have experience in the MSP world because this is a tough. Would you say it's tough selling MSP services, Greg?
Um,
Or
it-
do you think it's easy?
I mean, it's subjective. It could be easy on one day and hard on another.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say that what we're selling isn't complicated from a perspective of someone who's looking for a solution. If we were selling like chemicals that we needed to put together to make certain products, might be confusing to somebody, but we're not. We're like computer support, tech support. I mean, everybody knows what it is. If we were
Yeah.
selling like diodes or I mean, then there might be what's the quality of it and all that other stuff. So it could be hard, it could be easy. It's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about delegation and automation. Got to get out of the weeds. A lot of these guys are stuck in the weeds. You got to get out of it. So one of the biggest bottlenecks in MSP growth is the owner. Why? they're doing too much. They're not they're not delegating. You got to delegate tasks and automate as much as you can, because this will help you scale, and it'll help with you not burning out, because you don't want to burn out. That's just, you're not doing anybody any favors by burning. You're not doing your clients any favors. You're not doing yourself any favors. And if you have a significant other, you're not doing them a favor. And if you have children, you're not doing them a favor. So avoid burnout, delegate, automate. So let's ask Gregory some questions here, because this is my favorite topic here. What are the first things? What are the first things you think, Greg? Because you're an MSP owner. What should they first delegate when growing?
The first thing to delegate when growing is maybe scheduling your engineers.
Okay.
Yeah, scheduling, staying on top of, who's in and out, who's sick, who can come to work, what time they work, when they work, where they work, how they work.
Yeah,
what they're working on.
Yeah, that could be time consuming and labor intensive. But let me ask you this though. Let's say all of your people are, let's just say you're doing it all. You haven't done it. You're still a one-man show. What are you going to do? What are you going to delegate first? What are you going to hire first?
Scheduling, and then tech support. Don't make people responsible for their whatever work silo they're in. If they're a database person, try not to follow everybody around, and make sure they're doing a good job. Make them responsible, or tell them, okay, this is what I need from you as a result. Be result driven, in the sense that you want to empower techs to do work correctly, but you're not micromanaging them all the time about it. But you might have to in the beginning, but then slowly, like, relinquish the leash off of them.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Now, I don't know how much automation you have in place now, but has automation changed the way MSPs scale in today's market?
No,
not at all.
a little bit here and there, but not much.
And does single point of contact have AI working would you say, to its fullest potential?
No.
So you think there's
not really?
Would you have AI do?
No.
Really? Well, you have it working as a lead generation, right? It qualifies a lot of the leads that come through the website. It asks some questions. It puts them through like a qualification.
That's an AI. That's a chatbot, an AI chatbot. It is not bringing in a bulk of our leads. It brings in. It handles maybe 1 to 2 leads a month, if that. And it doesn't. And people get frustrated with it pretty quickly, I can see.
Yes.
So no, I wouldn't count on that as any kind of primary. Maybe a secondary or tertiary.
Yeah, I think that it needs to. I don't know if there's a component to.
It's called a person.
Well, the AI should be able to make a phone call, or at least send a text message saying, "I'm handing off this chat to you." Or
it sends us an email. It could text us.
Okay.
But not to hand off a chat. I disagree.
Okay.
But there are chatbots that you can use to parlay a chat over to a live operator. But then you have to have 24/7 live operators, or you have to have a live operator you identify during the day. Then that means you have to have a full-time salesperson.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No, you're right. No, it makes sense. But I was hoping that you had AI doing some minor troubleshooting or some.
Nothing.
Not even possible, would you say?
How could it be? Everything that comes in is random. So there's no real pattern to it. If every day all I got was the same call over and over and over again,
Yeah.
all day long, every day, then yeah, I would have AI take care of it. But
Yeah.
I don't. Every day something different comes in, and the AI wouldn't be able to handle the next call because it wasn't the same as the last call.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something for AI to do, find something that just keeps ringing a bell, and then have it stop doing it, have it stop that from happening.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, AI is pretty much just a pattern identification system. If you have a pattern that you identify, then AI is perfect for you. It's not a thinking machine. It doesn't do thinking. It's not that thing. It doesn't, if you have some, you'll see, call some tech support company with an AI module in front of it.
Oh,
It's
it's
useless. It's
frustrating.
useless.
Frustrating. No, no, no. It's frustrating. I know.
It's majorly frustrating. But for those people that are calling in, it says if you're calling about signing up for so and so, press 2. And then they press 2 and it says, okay, go to this website and sign up. I mean, is that AI? No, that's not AI. AI is a completely different type of a scenario that it doesn't have any place in tech support yet.
It's interesting. Well, RMM does do some level of AI or automation, does it not?
Oh,
Patching.
nothing that you don't set up and monitor constantly. So I don't know really if that's automation for you. I mean, if you have a machine that's cutting bread, right?
Yeah.
And you just turn it on and put bread out, and it goes around and cuts it, and then you leave for 8 hours, you come back and the machine's laying on the floor and only 2 pieces of bread have been cut. You're like, "What happened here?"
Yeah.
The AI machine's not gonna go, "Oh, I fell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fell. You need to help me, and now put me back on the table and put more bread inside of me." It's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
think that's what it's gonna do. It's gonna
Yeah.
go, "Oh, something went wrong and I fixed it because 'cause I'm a smart machine." You
Yeah.
gotta sit there and watch the bread machine cutting bread all day, and when it jams up, you gotta figure out how to fix it, and when it fixes itself, you gotta go back and make sure it doesn't do it again, and watch it all day long every day. Maybe after a couple months of it doing a good job and it quote unquote learning by you constantly correcting it, then it can handle a few different scenarios and you could leave for an hour.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even say do that because another unknown thing's gonna pop up and smash you down.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. No, I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Well,
If
let's.
okay, here's where AI could help you. If you were looking for something like a red button on a person's shirt and you had to look through 10 million photographs and you set it to look for the red button and you did a little quality assurance and it said these 10 people, 2 of them had red buttons, and you're like, cool, it found them. But what if a third one did, but it was slightly off, and you said to it, I want those 2, and then it went and looked through 1 million photographs for you in like half an hour.
Mm,
That
mm,
would be productive for you, right? You would say,
yeah.
oh man, I didn't have to look through those million photos. It
Mm,
found like 55,000 people wearing red buttons and
yeah.
it found like 10,000 people where it's a possible, and you might just look through those and just make sure everything looks good, and that's where it could help you.
Yeah.
Um, but not it's not gonna help you think.
Yeah.
It can help you perform a repetitive task, and it can do it for like massive numbers of things. But how does that equate to tech support? Not really.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, I got a little hyped up on the automation side and AI. I forgot to bring up mastering marketing and lead generation because most, as you know, we work with a lot of MSPs, and we 99.99% of them struggle with marketing because they either don't do it or they don't do it well. And a strong digital presence is it seems like it's not a priority for them. Even targeting outreach is not a priority.
Well,
And
I mean, here's where you could use AI and automation together. It's a scenario, but you'd have to set it up. Say you had a website and you had a one tab that said potato and one tab that said tomato. And
yeah,
everyone who clicked on the left, the potato tab, you gathered their information from them, and then you wanted to send them a documentary about potatoes.
yeah,
So every time they clicked on it, your AI module would say, I recognize this pattern. People are
yeah,
clicking on the potato tab. And
yeah,
now I have to take an action. I will gather their email, and from their email address, whatever gets put into, A6, field A6, I will send out a potato documentary to that particular, entry that they made, which is hopefully their email address correctly. But if it's not, it's going to bounce. But at
yeah,
least then you say, look, I identified a pattern and I took an action. That's where automation can come in and help you very well. You have to be intuitive enough to say, I need, and then you have to be able to understand AI to the level where you're going to tell AI, look, when this occurs, when people touch this tab in this area on this page, on this website, you're going to have to figure out where that is on the website that they're clicking. And you're going to have to program that into AI. You're not an AI programmer. So is it worthful? Can you use it?
yeah,
Maybe if someone else makes it for you and gives it to you and says, okay, this thing identifies tabs that are clicked and it responds with an email forwarding, then yeah, then it's worthful to you. But AI is not worth anything until someone makes it into a product that they can sell you.
yeah,
Does that
yeah,
make sense?
yeah. Total sense. Total sense.
So yeah, you can use AI and automation, but only in the extent to which someone builds something for you to use.
Yeah. Let me touch real quickly on this marketing topic because it's a sore subject for many MSPs. A lot of them have been burned by SEO groups, marketing groups, because there's the at the end of the day, the common denominator is they lack strategy. Just because you implement an SEO optimization plan or group doesn't mean that it's going to succeed, and it's because a lack of strategy. But that's one big mistake they make. How can you fix that? It's easy to fix, and we're going to go over this during a frame. We're building the framework for an SEO to have a successful SEO campaign. But what's your opinion? What's the biggest mistake MSPs make when marketing their services or their lack thereof?
Well, you could have the best SEO in the world, and it could be, say it's perfect.
Yeah,
Say you have AdWords and backlinks, and every time someone wants your MSP product, your tech support, they are ending up clicking on you, right?
yeah,
Say it's a perfect world. Say that's just you. There's just Fernando Leon, and he only has the only MSP in the whole universe. And
yeah,
so everyone who looks up MSPs and tech support, they only ever find you.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's great. And that's where you're like trying to get to, but you never will. But you're trying to get there. And say it even is 1% of that kind of a fix, where some people, 1% of people who click on tech support go to your company. Now, when they get to your site, does your site tell them that that's what you do? So that's a huge mistake people make. I see people put pictures and cartoons and price sheets and people walking down hallways and laser beams and all this other stuff. It's like when someone gets to your site, all the SEO in the world isn't going to help you if you don't have the right message, the right messaging, the right call to action. There's all these things about marketing that you need to pay attention to, and you aren't that person. You're not a marketing person. I'm not one. Fernando's not one. You need to get a marketing person who understands how things work and not someone who sells like girls' shoes or pool kits or lasers. they have to sell managed services. So if they don't sell those, they don't know how to market uh to MSP, to people who are looking for MSPs. So the biggest mistake you're going to make is not having a marketing person, and now you need the overhead of a marketing person, and the overhead of a salesperson, and the overhead of an SEO company, and the overhead of a company, and all that stuff. You have all this overhead. You got to go in there ready. You got to go in there where you've got enough customers to back all that up, and that's another problem. That's another mistake people make. You can't get started if you are out of money or you're not making a lot of recurring revenue.
Yeah.
So that's another problem people make. There's all kinds of problems that are made because you're trying to create content that's like create content that people want to look at, have a message that people relate to, that are looking for your product. Then, like you said earlier in the show, do you even call anyone back?
Yeah.
Do you have a mechanism where leads come in and you answer the leads within a few minutes? Like a chatbot can't do that. AI can't do that. You do it, and if you don't, then you're gonna fail. Now, all that being said, I did sign up for something the other day, and a virtual person called me back.
I was just gonna ask about that. How do you feel about that? When, let's say we had that, I would not like that, but I don't know how do you feel about that?
They got me to the point where I felt like what I was asking for
Yeah.
was understood. I felt like they understood what I was asking for. They repeated back to me what I was saying, and I felt like, oh, if they've got what I've said to them, and they're repeating it back to me, it's like, look, I want chocolate Kruger donuts, and they're like, we hear that you want chocolate Kruger donuts. Now, if they
Yeah.
said we hear that you want cinnamon rolls, I'd be all, no, that's wrong. But it was weird because all it really was a restating of the information I had given them on the web page. They got it again from me verbally through the virtual bot. Is that helpful? Maybe they felt it was. Or someone told them to put it into place. But if I just wanted to order something and they restated everything to me in the order verbally with a virtual assistant.
So they basically confirmed your order.
They confirmed my order, even though I had written it down.
That's a waste of an investment. One of the things that I think a lot of people make mistakes on with the marketing strategy, because you gave your opinion, and I kind of agree with you on some things, but it's a lack of vision. It's a lack of planning, a lack of clearly defining pain points. And people think that, oh, my website is hitting on all pain points. It's just not your website. It's your collateral, it's your sales process, it's your LinkedIn profile, it's your company's LinkedIn profile. Everything that is digital that your clients can find on you needs to be solving challenges. You're in the industry you're targeting, it needs to be solving a problem, or you're not going to be viewed as somebody that can solve their challenges. And everyone thinks that, um oh, you're people make the mistake of confusing sales and marketing. Just because you have a great salesperson doesn't mean that you're going to have a great marketing strategy or marketing campaign. Two very separate things. Your messaging needs to be on point to at least hit a majority of the people looking for you, because there's searches being made every minute of the day for IT services. Every day there's thousands of searches made every day. And if you don't rank in that organic search, or you don't have ads that are solving that problem for that specific industry, you're not going to do well. No one's going to find you. You're not going to be able to build an online presence because you're not creating content to first rank, right? Google's going to look at your site and say, you don't have any content on your site that tells us you're the expert, that you have experience, that you have testimonials, that you produce content that solves problems for this specific industry. That's what they look at. And in order to be an authority online, you have to create content. That's just it. You have to solve problems in your content. That's the magic sauce right there. It's very simple. It's just executing that plan of how are you going to tell the world that you solve these problems. What are you going to produce to tell the world you solve these problems? Marketing is not that complicated. I mean, I've been reading a lot of books on the messaging and lining everything up, so you have you're talking to the right people, you're getting the message to the right people, and you're using the right medium or media to get to those people, because it's not that complicated, but people love to make it complicated.
Well, okay, let me tell you a story here let me support what you're saying.
Go for it.
Cookies.
Cookies?
So cookies, yeah. If you Google cookies,
Yeah.
what do you think will come up?
Cookies?
Cookies. Cookies you put in your face.
All right, I'm gonna look up cookies. Well, all the cookies come up, like
No, tell me what comes up when you Google cookies. I'll wait.
Buttercream frosted spring cookies, Mrs. Fields 48 Nibblers bites. Okay, then the organic, that's the sponsored section.
Okay, what comes up in the organic area?
It says cookies.co, a fresh bowl of berries and cream with lime on top, experience strong and heavy, mood lifting, body high, available at all California stores. That's the first organic choice.
Okay, when I Google cookies, cookie recipes come up.
Yeah, that for me, it is
Is it brands?
No. So here's the difference between you and I. I'm in a different part of the state. So whoever in my area is working on a local organic SEO strategy, they're the ones that are going to come up first in my area. Your area will be different. Here, do me a favor.
Cookie recipes, what I'm telling you though is cookie recipes are what Google's going to search for. Google cookies, because the site is covered with cookie information. Yeah. It isn't just it's not Mrs. You said Mrs. Fields is a sponsor, but in the organic search section, you're going to get places that don't just sell like a certain brand of cookie, like Chips Ahoy. It's going to be all these different companies that are talking about cookies and giving you recipe for cookies, have multiple recipes. It's like all these different things. Those are the experts in the area. Those are the people that are going to come up. You don't see like Oreos. Oreos is not going to pop up on your top 10 list. Even though you type cookies in and Oreo is the most popular cookie in the whole of the US, Oreo's website doesn't talk about Oreos. They just say, here, this is our brand, and deal with it. And that's how they get you to buy their food and get their stuff. They don't use your methodology. They don't sit there and have endless blogs about cookies and videos about cookies. They just have Oreos. That's it. And then, they're not going to rank on Google's top list. That's not how the algorithm works.
You're right. I even entered delicious cookies, and Toll House is not even, one of the big boys is not up there. You're right.
Well, the links aren't going to be to Toll House cookies because they don't talk on their website about. They don't have vlogs. They don't have blogs. They don't have recipes or information. All they do is have a brand. and that's all they fall back on. They don't have
Well,
websites filled with data.
yeah, no, this is the difference between well, you're trying to make a point that large organizations aren't focused on creating content. And you're right, like them, they're more focused on the consumer. Consumers aren't online looking for cookies. They're at the store looking for cookies. So their whole marketing strategy is going to be at the store, in the malls, uh, with visuals of delicious cookies next to a cold glass of milk, right? That's their marketing strategy, which is very obviously because they're targeting the consumer. I'm,
But
I,
it doesn't have anything to do with value. It doesn't have anything to do with case studies. It doesn't have anything to do with blogs. It doesn't have anything to do with vlogs. It doesn't have to do with anything.
yeah,
They just depend upon their their brand to carry them through the day.
yeah,
But that's not how it works for us. And
no,
you
no, no, no.
shouldn't look at it that way. You have to look at it from the only way you're going to get on the top list organically is by providing all that information.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Totally agree. Well, that's what we do. Like,
Yes.
look up white label sock services where you are right now, and tell me what the first organic option is for you.
So sponsored by eCentra,
Yeah, Centire is my first option. Is Alert
eCentire,
Logic your second?
and then I see Guards,
Guards is there, yeah.
Hunters, Barracuda, and then us. We're the top search.
Are we the top organic search or the
We're the
third?
top organic. We're the top organic, right below the end of the sponsors.
Well, that's where we are too. You see, now I'm in a different part of the state. Our SEO strategy has us coming up as the number one organic choice anywhere in the world, and that's why we get a lot of leads from UK and Australia. But that's the power of content creation. Okay. And one of the other key things that tells you, hey, this is a valuable keyword, is you have guards bidding to be at the top there, right? So that tells you, that's a great keyword to focus on. But anyways, content creation gets you there. But let me just wrap things up with this last topic I want to talk about: recurring revenue and retention. Because to hit seven figures, MSPs need to focus on increasing client retention and maximizing the amount of revenue they can occur within accounts. But you can't just chase deals, right? You got to work what you have. And I think 20 MSPs out there that haven't maxed, if they have like 20 plus accounts and they haven't maximized the capacity that they can deliver there, they're probably missing out on an additional $2,000 to $3,000 of reoccurring revenue each month. But what my question to you is, how can MSPs increase their MRR without overloading their teams? What would you suggest? What's your tip there?
Well, that's hard. Because you need your team to implement anything.
Well,
So I don't know. I would have to say I would have to put pressure on my teams. Just make
yeah,
sure that I don't put too much pressure on them as
it's
just
a balance.
measure the overload level, but
Yeah.
you still need them to implement anything.
Do you think pricing mistakes are made by MSPs?
Oh, absolutely.
Where? What do you think? What's one pricing mistake you see MSPs make? You and I get a lot of
Charging too much for not enough stuff. I'll tell you the major pricing mistake is that when you go to a customer and they go, I want to do X, you charge them for Y, X, and Z, and they don't want Y and Z, but you keep pushing it on them because that's your price. That's what your price level is.
I fought you on this for a very, very long time because I'm a very stubborn individual. But because you're a very patient individual, you let me learn on my own, and I did. And it's one thing that has stuck with me forever now is exactly what you just said. Don't give them things they don't need.
Don't give them things they don't need.
Yeah, don't give them things they don't need, and you can scale back if they're like, hey, you know what, we want level 1 support. Okay, you know what, we're we're going to, and that's one of the reasons I came up with the ticket model, because it just made a lot of sense for larger organizations. But you were like, look, give them, they want all their servers monitored and supported 24/7. Give them level 1 support. It's much more effective. It's much more cost effective. And so if it breaks down, we'll charge them T&M. But we don't do that anymore. But it made a lot of sense for a lot of organizations, because they're like, there's not a lot of money they have to put up front for the monitoring and the maintenance of it. And when it did break, which hardly ever did, it just made things a lot easier to sell, right?
Right.
And it helped us close more opportunities. But I agree with you. Don't sell things they don't need. Oh my God, I'm working with one of our vendors, and I'm like, dude, you're giving me this bundled package and I don't need the entire bundled package. Well, that's just the way we sell things. And I'm like, all right, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to bring you anything. Nothing. I'm not bringing you anything now.
Yeah, because people, and I've seen them do it to you in the past. They go, Fernando, we don't need vulnerability scanning. Why is it in the quote? You're like, well, it's part of the bundle. And they're like, well, we don't want it. Take it out. And you're all, well, just part of it. So, yeah, not going to work.
All right, let me just close this out real quick, and about the MSP Corner. Obviously, we're on a mission to deliver valuable content, and hopefully it's kind of entertaining, our podcast. But Gregory and I were founders of an MSP. We know the struggles many of you go through, and the platform we're developing is designed specifically for you guys to help guide you guys. Because I know a lot of you are going through a lot of challenges, and you have some big pains in the rear. So we understand it. So we're getting very we're done with some frameworks, and it'll be ready for you guys. We have some more frameworks this month, and but we're going to be here providing you with marketing and selling frameworks, so you guys sell more. You get on the map with your marketing campaign. So join the MSP Corner. And my last closing thoughts is, well, I appreciate the discussion, Greg. Thanks for your insight. It's always enlightening. But I just want to emphasize that scaling isn't just about working harder. It's about working smarter. And if you found value in today's episode, don't do this alone. Join the MSP Corner. Our community is designed to help MSPs like you scale faster and learn from industry experts. Gregory has a lot of knowledge to offer. He's incredible, and it'll help you build a thriving business. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to sign up to be a member on the MSP Corner. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.